I'm Rob.
I'm E.
I'm Blue.
I'm August.
Welcome to the next movement, folks.
I dropped out of high school to pursue this, thinking they gon' really say Blue when my rap debut hits. Took 6 years and the truth is, I wouldn't have made it this far if X didn't produce it. I was doing songs with Quali and the Roots when my ex left and I was too depressed to make music. She told me to stay independent, but I didn't do it. Signed a 6 mil deal with Warner Brothers for my new shit. Clueless about how many gain clout, but they lose it if your talent isn't put to use. It's useless. I tried really hard to start a movement, but soon as I did, then our Future and TDE swooped in. Warner got bought out, left me with no loot, so I planned to retire and just DJ and produce. Then my studio got robbed, left me with no equipment after spending 10 years in all of my loot, building it. Damn, James Worthy, I'll be up bright and early, flipping words, cause it surely ain't birds that I'm serving. You could be Urban Magic, you could be Julius Irving, but you just don't get more worthy than James Worthy.
Legends in the building tonight. We got Blu and August Fanon, fresh off their new release, 40. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having us, yo.
Yeah, it's our pleasure, for real. Blu, been listening to your music for a long time, so it's an honor. August, glad to have you both here.
Hell yeah. It's good to be here.
All right, so let's talk about 40. All right, this album, much like hitting a milestone birthday like 40, feels significant, feels like a milestone entry into an expansive and dynamic discography. I wonder if you guys could talk about the process that you both went through in order to arrive at this milestone. Specifically, at what point did you know this was going to be an album about turning 40? And at what point did it become clear that August was going to be the full-length collaborator?
All right, man. The big homie Stick Figure hit me up and was like, yo, man, this brother August Fanon is trying to work with you, man. And I said, okay, word. And he sent me his contact. And August sent me a batch of beats right off rip. And August sent me 200 freaking beats. I was like, yo, okay. And I put them on. And the first 50 blew me away. I believe I heard the entire album, definitely heard the entire album in the first 50 beats I heard. And I was like, oh man, it's all right here. The beats were speaking to me. You know what I mean? You can hear the beats that we chose. They're like, the beats talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So the beats were telling me more so what to say. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, this is a project right here. I got to hit this dude up. This is crazy. You know what I mean? I didn't even get through the whole 200. And I was like, yo, it's on. You know what I mean? And I hit up August and he was like, I think a couple weren't available, but other than that, we was good money. Yeah, it was on from there.
Yeah, it happened real quick. You know, so reaching out to artists is always, you never know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it could go like what happened with Blu. It's like the most ideal situation in the world, or it could go all the way the other way. The most ideal thing happened with Blu of all people. You know what I'm saying? To have it just go, shoot, like it's just been like, oh, it's unbelievable. So, and it turned out so good. You know what I'm saying? Like Blu said, the beats he really just picked up on a lot of the vocal samples and just crafted ideas and concepts around them, and it was just perfect. You know what I'm saying? It just really just worked.
So Blu, did you know before you heard these beats that you wanted to like write a project about turning 40?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. These beats came together, like the concepts came together for the songs first, and then I was sat back like, what is this? You know what I mean? What is this? And this is like adulthood, you know what I mean? It's like, it's me right now at 40, you know what I mean? I believe I hit you up in August. I gotta check my emails, but I think I hit you up in August, ironically. And I wrote and recorded the project in like 2 weeks in September. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty much on from there. Then we was getting the features. By the end of the year, we had the project. You know what I mean? Everybody came through lethal, hella quick. You know what I mean? So it was dope.
That's wild because the beats on this project are great, of course. They're so soulful. They carry a lightness to them that just fits blues lyrics so well. What has been striking to me is the vocal samples. They go so well with the overall theme and concepts of these songs that when I first heard them, I was like, damn, like either August had like perfectly crafted these beats or wrote perfectly to them. It sounds like it was.
Word up. Yeah, it was both for sure.
Sort of echoing what Rob just said, 40 has such a vibrant sound. And it reminded me that Fanon beats often have this characteristic, just so full of life and color. Blue, I'm wondering if this is what you were imagining 40 would sound like when you were developing its concept.
Yeah, I had all the beats by the time I decided that the record should be called 40. You know, before I came up with the idea of 40, August had already gave me the okay on all the beats we used for the album. So yeah, it was all there. And 40, the title was kind of like the last, was like what tied everything in. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like, you know, we got the songs, the song titles, the ideas, got it written, recorded, and then I got the titled it after one of the songs, the song 40.
So we've established repeatedly at this point that this new album is about turning 40. And like most of us do when we've reached that milestone, Blue, you're doing a lot of reflecting on your life and the world around you. So I've two questions. The first one is for you, Blue. What has the journey you've taken through this album revealed to you about your growth over the years, both as a creative and as a person?
This album, like, it's like a pause in time. You know what I mean? It's like a moment to just stop and reflect, like you were saying. And so it's more so not about the motion, like not about everything that was happening, but like just taking time out to stop and put down what was happening. You know what I mean? What is happening? And so I guess it is, and it's about what's happening. But it's about that pause. You know what I mean? And taking that break. You know, to just reflect, look around you, and reflect on what has got you here. Like, you know what I mean? Where you're at. You know what I mean? And where you plan on going. You know?
Yeah. Fanon, how did this collaboration make you think about your own story and the roads that you've traveled down to get to where you are now?
That's a good question. I mean, it made me think about a lot of things because, like, I know at 40, let's see, and you know what I'm saying, I was in a group home, you know what I'm saying, and I was still doing music, but I was like housing insecure essentially, and I was like, okay, well, I got to get out of here. I don't know what's going to be the move here, you know what I'm saying, and now to be here in this position and being looking at that, you know, and looking at, you know, working on music, you know, all through my 30s and just kind of emerging, you know, as I was turning 40, essentially, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? All that work, all that hard work, you know, and now it's like a celebration of sorts. But like Blue said, it's funny how Blue described, like, you know, kind of getting it down. You know, who was it? I think it was like Frederick Douglass wrote his biography like 3 times in his life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow.
You know, so he wrote it at three different junctures. You know, had to get it down. Yeah, man, got to get the stuff down. So I feel that. I feel that. So it's a time to reflect, and it's a time to also like you know, like celebrate and be like, yeah, okay, this is great. You know, 40, grown. You know, I'm still here in one piece, mind, body, and soul, and then headed to the future. You know, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I remember when I turned 40, someone said to me something like, "Welcome to the age of not giving a fuck." And and I think you could take that in a few different ways, right? But as I've been listening to 40, I started to think about that quote a lot and how it relates to this self-assurance we develop with time and age. So, you know, throughout your project, I can feel this sense of ease and steadiness. It seems like you're both so comfortable in your skin and in your craft, and nothing or no one has the ability to negatively influence that. As creatives, is is this type of confidence something that you were able to organically build with experience, or did you have to be intentional in nurturing it?
I would say 100% experience, you know what I mean? Just and nurturing it too, like, just constantly putting into it to where the experience of doing that has just made it so much easier to create.
Yeah. What about you, Fanon?
Yeah, I'd definitely say a lot of experience, a lot of like trial by error, or what is it, baptism by fire, and you gain confidence. I was just thinking, just the show that we just did, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, on the airplane, I was a little nervous, but once I hit Cali, I was cool. I was like really wanted to get out there and perform. Wasn't feeling anything at all. I was like, oh, I've only done maybe 15 shows, if that, maybe 10, and it's like I'm getting on that horse and getting confident and presenting my music in that way. So it's cool, you know what I'm saying? Just it's like you said, it's just a lot of experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've really enjoyed this project in large part because of the warm sound that we've been talking about. Of course, it's a celebration.
Mm,
Feels so good. It just elicits positivity. I hear a lot of gratitude being expressed on the album.
yes.
Did you go into this Blue with like a positive vibes only approach?
Pretty much, like I was turning 40. It was a huge milestone. And I had just had my son, really, and that's what made me want to I did 10 albums in about 2 years since my son was born. You know what I mean? 40 was one of the albums right when I turned 40, or yeah, 39, 40. And then I started working around 40. You know what I mean? Once he was about 1 year old, I was like, all right, I gotta get on it now.
There's so many good songs on this album. I think my favorite one is, though, Love.
Yeah, love. I love my mama, love my daddy, love my shades that I wanted so badly. Love my woman who keeps me so happy. Love the raps that I be rapping, love the tracks that I be rapping on. I love the love I get after I put out a rap song. I love the idea dismantling the atom bomb. I love the planet that I'm on. My love is long. If my love was a burning rock, I would cry tears for 80 million years just to cover you and cool you off. I would birth land, then life, then man, then stand as a testament and hope love gets to you all. I love everything about who you are. God is everything and I love God, so I love you all. The percentage of what you think is wrong is so small that all I see is love even when it gets dark. So I don't bitch when shit gets hard, cause all I got is love in my heart.
It's so beautiful, and I love how it's broken up into several different parts. And it's interesting because, Blue, sometimes it feels like you're talking about love in the form of romantic relationships and then love for things you care about, such as hip hop. So I'm wondering, how has your relationship with hip hop changed over the years, and what did you imagine it would be like at this stage in your life?
Hip hop, I felt like I was always following hip hop. I wasn't so much leading it to where I could have that foresight as to where hip hop was going. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was always like trying to fit in, see where I fit in hip hop. You know what I mean? And try to make my own space within its existence. You know what I mean? So I never really pondered too much about where it would be, but hitting the 50th celebration was just crazy. You know what I mean? Just like, it was dope to be alive. It's dope to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Like, the Grammys held the celebration for the 50th anniversary for hip hop, and they had my name on the stage. That shit was like amazing. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah.
what? Like I felt like I won the Grammy. I was crying that night.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing to be a part of it. You know what I mean? And man, I just love creating. You know what I mean? I can't see myself not creating hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Fanon, how would you answer that question? Like, how has your relationship with hip hop changed over the years, and what did you imagine it would be like at this stage in your life?
Um, becoming a creative person within the culture and really stepping out and having community with other hip hoppers, it has totally changed everything because I went from just, listening in my headphones, maybe sharing some records with my friends, maybe going to a show,
Mm-hmm.
to really living and breathing it every single day and with other people that live it and breathe it every single day. Oh, and then I always think of something like I
Mhm.
met people that like have you guys seen that? Did you guys see that Biz Markie documentary?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's this segment where like there's like they're talking to Rakim and he's like, Biz made me jealous because he was like the first person I felt that I was like he loves hip hop more than me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And like I meet people like that. You know, I'm like, wow, man, this guy. For so long it was like, oh, I like hip hop. I love hip hop. Okay, but to meet other people that are like just as enthused that are or just have as much depth or more depth or that or have even more enthusiasm than you about it, it's just crazy. And there's like all these kind of people all over the world, and some of them are tapped into your own music, so
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
it's just changed my whole perspective on hip hop. It's been a revolution, over my journey. So it's cool, man.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
So as we sort of kind of touched on indirectly, there's a lot of incredible features on 40. Some from Cassius King, who's been with you since the start Blue.
Mhm.
Was it important for you to honor the history you have with him on this album for that reason?
Nah, Cassius is like my right hand man. He's on like pretty much every project I drop. You know what I mean? We're like Ghost and Ray, like Red and Meth,
Mm.
like Quali and Most Def. It's no separating us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we like blood brothers.
How has he influenced your creative growth over the years?
Oh man, he's kept me sharp. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. He's younger than me, but he's always been sharper than me. To me, you know what I mean? So I've always like sharpened my steel. You know what I mean? Like jousting against this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like going at it with costs, like on track. All the time. You know what I mean? Still sharp and still. We stay at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Best kind of relationship.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. That's my guy right there, yo.
Yeah.
Shout out Cassius King.
At the end of the track Worthy, there's a vocal sample that talks about 40 seeming like an aggressive age when you're younger. And I remember thinking that a lot when I was in my 20s. 40 just seemed like an age that was intimidating and so far away. And I remember having anxiety and feeling pressure around doing all this work that would allow me to have the kind of life that I knew I wanted to have by the time I turned 40. I'm wondering how and if you all have had to navigate that as creatives. Has there been tension around accomplishing specific goals within your work as you've grown older?
For me, it's like midlife crisis. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm,
time to get it, time to have it. You know what I mean? In order, time to secure it, secure the bag. Whatever it is. It's like it's not 50 because 50 is like, all right, you made it. You know what I mean? 50
yeah,
is like you know what I mean? That's when you start coasting. You know what I mean? You want to start coasting, you know. 40 is like you gotta have it. You gotta have it.
that's right. How about you, Fanon?
Yeah, I mean, how do I feel about being 40 or being this age? Yeah, kind of like Blue said, like I mean, reflecting on like you have like this kind of midlife crisis, and you look around, you see like, okay, I'm here now. I'm 40. I'm 44 now. So I'm like, okay, what do your friends have? What is going on? What do you have? Do you have a house? This, that, and the third. The social trappings and whatever. What do you want? When are you gonna get it? You know, uh, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
But really, those kind of like thoughts and feelings, I kind of like put aside a lot for me because of I'm able to be creative with my art. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
I have like a community of people that appreciate the art that I do. And so that fulfills me in ways that, what I'm saying, that I don't really sweat the other stuff. Even though I like to have some other stuff, but it's like it's like it's okay. Like I'm doing something like my name might live beyond me, So it's crazy. That's crazy, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, so I'm
Big.
happy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
you guys are touching on something that I wanted to ask about, and that was really about a focus on legacy. If thinking about legacy is something that you guys find yourself doing at this age. You've both mentioned midlife crisis, which is a, term that I've tried to embrace. And
Yeah. I
it,
hear that with the legacy though. I hear you on that.
yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a time where one, you're like looking back and trying to figure out like, how did I get here? And two, looking ahead and trying to think about like, what do I want things to look about, the next half? Or what do I want things to look like in the next half? But I wonder if that also comes with some thought given to like, what am I leaving behind? What's my legacy look like?
Definitely. That was definitely a part of the thought process making the album. You know what I mean? Legacy. You know what I mean? Looking back at everything from my son, the reflection, you know what I mean? And pulling together what's important, you know what I mean? And presenting that.
What about
Yeah, I'm always thinking about legacy with my music, you know what I'm saying? I'm always thinking about like, what this will sound like 50 years from now. Will this matter? You know what I'm saying? I really do think in those terms. And like, um, that also helped me get over anxiety over little things about, what is this going to catch you? Is this going to catch you? Whatever. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, is it going to be still relevant 50 years from now? I'm thinking those kind of terms, and it's like, so yeah, legacy is huge for me, and I try to get everybody around me on that same tip. Like, don't worry, man. It's like we're making great music. It's gonna get through, just like all the great stuff gets through, So yeah, so it just takes time.
Blue, way back on Below the Heavens, which is almost 20 years old at this point. There,
Oh,
Mhm. Come on.
there's a track called Soulful Amazing. And on this track, you say, "My peoples need hope, and I'm the one with it."
Hmm.
40 feels like a celebration, of course, but I also think it carries a lot of hope within it. Do you still feel like you're carrying hope for people? And if so, what hope do you want others to take from 40?
Mm. That was a bold statement I made when I was 21. You know what I mean? When I wrote that, you know what I'm saying? But now I think definitely like being like the blue collar rapper, you know what I'm saying? Like this is our day job, you know what I'm saying? Like I think that's very inspiring, you know what I'm saying? The show that you can make it in an independent game. You know what I mean? You could do it independent, you know what I mean? Yeah, that was a bold statement to say I'm the one with the hope. You know what I'm saying? I think we all are. I think we all inspire each other. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You know what I mean? It just keeps going. Keeps moving. Every Friday, I get like 10 new albums just dropped of inspiration. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that sentiment I think is apparent on 40. I mean, it's a guest heavy project, your peers you're sort of surrounded by your peers on the project, which communicates that sense of community.
Yeah, it's like a birthday party, man. The album is a birthday party. It's like all the homies coming through to celebrate with me. It's a birthday cipher, really.
You both are such prolific artists. Both of you have touched on this already tonight. Blue, you talked about the run you've been on. We were talking with Don Will at the end of the year last year about your recent work. Feels like you're dropping multiple album of the year contenders.
Oh, word up. That's love.
And it feels like it's been that way for the past few years. And August, as as Blue already described, you sending beat packs all the time, just constantly creating. I wonder how like age and experience has contributed to the sort of prolific creative output that the two of you have demonstrated over the last couple of years.
I would say it's what we were saying earlier is you know what I mean, like nurturing that gift that you know what I mean, and to where like, you know, you've developed it so long that it just comes easy to you. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier. I remember writing a 16 used to be like a fucking wrestling match. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be like rolling on the ground all under the table and shit, trying to get out my 16 and shit. Now I can just like stroll around the house and knock out my 16. You know what I mean? It's a lot different. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so it comes a lot easier now. You know what I mean? With experience. You know, it's like riding a bike.
Yeah, like I said, like a lot of trial and error, but now it comes easy, and then it's like it's my job. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, blue collar, I do it every day. You know what I'm saying? I work is like a job. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been blessed with able to make a living through music, so I'm gonna take advantage of this. You know, I got all this time. I don't got a job. I'm gonna make music. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm gonna do. You know, I'm gonna fill my time up with music. So I go at it, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, it comes easy. It really does, you know what I'm saying? It's flowing, you know. So it's cool.
Hell yeah. Killing shit over there, Doug.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, there's been a lot of conversation about 40 on the socials, and in those conversations, it feels like a lot of people are new to Fanon and just discovering his work through this project, and they're singing your praises, and nothing can make me happier because people definitely need to know who you are.
Oh,
If yeah, Fanon, if people are hearing you for the first time through 40, what statement do you hope your production is making to them?
oh man, I don't know. Let me see. What I'm trying to say? Uh,
What's the flex?
I don't. I mean, what is the flex of the 40? I mean, I think that you know what I'm saying. I could do some big soul shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
know you know what I'm saying. I could do some big soul shit. Like on the real. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to kill that shit, you know I got. I mean that particular style with the vocal sample. Like I can get in that bag. You know what I'm saying? Like I got some shit right now in that bag. You know what I'm saying? Like newer shit.
Oh,
This shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So you know, on the production tip, you know, that's one of my so if they check out that and they're gonna check out another album, like, oh man, that sounds different. Like, yeah, I got different chambers to give you different what you need, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, check
Yeah.
it out. Check it out. Yeah.
As a listener, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Not that you need my, not that you need that certainly, but you have so much range and you're just so good at what you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah.
oh.
So I have one more question, and then I think we could dive in the cube. It's about the album cover for 40. It's a picture of you, Blue, and your son, and you're holding up the blue numbers 40. It's such a simple, everyday image that manages to capture and celebrate really big things in your life.
Uh-huh.
Does this album feel like it will be one that honors you and what's important in your life for years to come?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. You know, it's reflecting fatherhood, you know what I mean? Being a father, you know what I mean? Like I think that's what's felt throughout the album, you know what I mean? You know.
Beautiful.
There goes the neighborhood. There goes the neighborhood. There goes the neighborhood. There goes the neighborhood.
4 or 5 niggas in the mothership, better known as a deuce, and we all wanna smother shit. Front and back glass got tint, trying to get our hands on some dollars and cents, and fools can't hold us. Every chance we get, we hitting up the roads, coming up short of the green guys. And I might start slinging bean pies or the bootleg t-shirt of the month with "You Can't Touch This" on the front. I'm out to get rich, cause life ain't nothing but money and fuck a bitch. They drop like dominoes, and if you didn't know, Ice Cube got drama hoes. So after the screwing, I bust a nut, get up, and put on my white unit. I'm out the dope. All you might get is a rubber on the floor, cause I'm ready to hit the road like Mario Andretti, bitch, cause I'm steady mom.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Every episode, we ask our guests to pick an album that is a favorite or a personal classic or has been influential in some way on their work, or maybe it's just what they've been listening to that week. Whatever it may be, this time we're talking about Ice Cube and we're talking about Death Certificate. I'm really looking forward to hearing you guys talk about how we arrived at this selection. How did we get here? How did we get to?
Man, I don't know how this one hasn't been covered yet. Has this been covered?
No.
Oh man. Come on.
I think this is the first Cube album, right, Rob?
Yeah, I believe it is the first Cube record. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got so many. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is my third favorite album of all time. Hip-hop.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Illmatic, The Chronic, and Death Certificate.
Okay. Why is this in that list?
Death Certificate is just like, it's so potent. You know what I mean? It's coming from my second favorite MC of all time. You know what I mean? Ice Cube. It's his deadliest album, and he really put it down on this album. Like the thought that he put behind it is like, it's his deepest record. It's his probably most hardcore record. Nah, I can't even say that really. He got some hardcore shit. NWA is some hardcore shit.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's probably his deepest record. You know what I mean? And yeah, I would say that. The social commentary through it is, and it's LA. It's like the perfect description of, like, you know what I mean? A perfect like ticket to visit the city. You know what I mean? It's like Death Certificate or Chronic. You know what I mean? Those are the two vibes right there for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And Cube, I lean more towards Cube. I mean, Chronic is my second favorite album all time for different reasons, but Cube would definitely be my second favorite next to that Illmatic. You know what I mean? Death Certificate is just is crazy. The production on it, oh man! Shout out to the Boogeymen. You know what I mean? They destroyed that shit. DJ Pooh and Bobcat went in. Sir Jinx went in. Yeah, they took it to another level after working with Public Enemy. You know what I mean? They Cube worked with Bomb Squad for the first solo, which was Crazy, America's Most Wanted. And it was like, how are you gonna top this shit? And it was the homies. It was the homies who did that shit.
Right.
Man, and destroyed that shit, dog. Oh man. Bobcat is my favorite around that era. You know what I mean? What he did for Tupac, what he did for LL. He's like the man behind Mama Said Knock You Out. Like, come on, they killed that shit, dog. Then Ice Cube and shit. Come on. Come on. It's crazy.
I was thinking, we were talking earlier before you came on, before we started recording, I was thinking about like just like the production value on Steady Mob, and like, because like I put the album like a couple 3 days ago, I put the album back on my phone, and I'm like, okay. And like, I mean, the intro, that shit sounds great. You know,
Hell yeah.
the nigga that you wrong nigga to fuck with, that sounds great. But when Steady Mobbing comes in and when the hook comes in, I mean, it just sounds so perfect. Like, I'm like, yo, the mix on this is just crazy. It's one of, like, the live is just like a perfect thing. It's just so perfect. You know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy. But yeah, man, I was just thinking about that. I was like, yo, Steady Mob is crazy. It's just still bangs. I'm like, this shit sounds live as fuck. It's 2025. It sounds like it's fresh right now. Like, this is crazy.
Oh, but that joint right before is Summer Vacation is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy,
Yeah.
that beat is crazy.
That
Those
beat's
drums,
crazy. Yeah.
those drums.
Isn't
Oh,
that
man.
Atomic? Isn't that the Atomic Dog? Isn't that?
Is that? Damn.
Let
Them
me
shits-
see. Is that?
Yeah, right. I think so, dog.
That shit's crazy.
That shit is crazy. But yeah, Steady Mobbing takes the cake.
That's
Yeah.
and that's so crazy because essentially they just looped it and put some 808s on it, and it just bangs. It's just like and
That
then
shit
you
is-
can just rock, it just rides it. puts those little skits in there and shit. And
Am
it's
I
like
tripping? Do it have sense in there? Ain't there sense in there?
maybe there's some sense in there.
I'm loving this conversation so far.
Can y'all hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
shit is
that beat
crazy
is
right there,
crazy.
dog.
That shit's fucking crazy, man. Atomic Done, just like straight up, just man, just loop that shit, just go, boom,
Yeah.
Uh,
that shit just, and like I said, with those skits that they put in it though, to make it thematic throughout and just cinematic, like you know what I'm saying? Because like that
yep,
is
yep.
crazy. That's a crazy story right there. What do you know? A drive-by in Missouri. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What do you know? Black St. Louis niggas want their corner back. Yeah, that's crazy.
I want to know how y'all felt the first time you heard No Vaseline. What was like your immediate reaction?
I listened. I grew up on hip hop like late because my stepfather was a pastor. So it's my disclaimer real quick.
Yeah.
I got into hip hop in like 98. You know what I mean? So I heard everything in like 98. So for me hearing it, I was way late. It quickly became like the greatest diss song I ever heard, just off rip. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, the bridge is over, no Vaseline right there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that beat is crazy. That's the hardest beat on the album. I think I think Jinx did like one or two beats on the album, and that was one of them. And that's like the hardest beat on the album. That shit is crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. You know, when I heard it, like as I was a kid, I remember just being like, just blown, just on some, you know, this is funny because he's cussing and he's making fun of these guys. It was just funny to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember this was like, it was almost kind of like, you know, I was listening to something I was supposed to be listening to. You know what I'm saying? Like, listening to Ice Cube when I was like 10, 11 years old. So it was like, it was a little bit of that involved in it. And as I got older, you know what I'm saying? I remember I returned to it again, like as a, you know, like at 22, I remember, and like when I just got out of school at college, and I was like, man, this shit is crazy. Like,
yeah, come on.
it's like as a diss record, it was like I was like, damn, like this is one of the hardest ones because he really went into detail about shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, and it was like it was bombastic, but it wasn't like far fetched. He wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like hidden below the belt. You know what I'm saying? Like
Nah, that the
you know what I'm saying?
punchline, the hook, you know, no Vaseline, just that to end the verse saying, now come on, man.
Yeah.
That right hook right there. Come on.
Right.
That shit is crazy. I remember I was on tour. I was on one of my first tours in 2006. And the homie Tarak, I was on a bus with Tarak, and he was like, he said something. I said the blueprint is definitely top 10. You know, I said something crazy, probably like top 5 or some shit. And he was like, and he named a couple, and he said, over Death Certificate. I said, hell yeah, over Death Certificate. He said, oh nah, hell nah. And then he made the whole van listen to Blueprint and Death Certificate back to back. I ain't never said no foolish shit like that ever again. Yo, Death Certificate was so hard. That shit was serving so hard. I was like, damn, I feel like a fool right now. And I love Blueprint still. Blueprint is still top 10 for me to this day, but Death Certificate is way up there now.
It's the energy behind it, right? Like it's just so
in your face.
fucking incredible. Yeah.
Oh man, it's all in your grill. This album is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking about what you said about it being like a LA record, which is, you know, clear, when listening.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but when I was listening to it this week, I was thinking a lot about some of the records you've made about LA, like Los Angeles and
Huh.
Red Hot. I always get the title mixed up.
Los Angeles Summer Night. Yeah.
With Oh No, and I feel like you've done Out of the Blue. Uh,
Good to be home.
yeah,
Out of the blue.
how has Death Certificate like informed those records for you?
Oh man. Like I've always wanted to make a Death Certificate album. You know what I mean? I'm not Ice Cube, you know what I'm saying? Like I try all the time and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I never hear nobody like say like, "Oh, this shit remind me of Death Certificate." So I don't think I've reached that mark yet, but I've definitely tried a few times.
It's also striking to like, I mean, it's not necessarily surprising to hear you say Cube is like one of your favorite MCs. One of the
uh,
I've also been thinking about this week listening to 40, and then today listening to the Death Certificate was like, I don't actually. I've had a hard time trying to think of a time where you sounded angry on a
uh,
and Cube
uh,
like the opposite, right? Like he's
yeah, yeah.
so it's interesting to hear you say like he's one of your favorite MCs. Like what as an MC, what do you think his influence has been on you?
I just feel Cube is the hardest of all time. Like his presence, the shit he's aiming at. You know what I mean? He's directing his aggression at. He's the hardest rapper ever. You know what I mean? Fuck the police, like, you know what I mean, taking down the president. Like he's like, you know, you either selling crack, you either shot somebody, you know what I'm saying? Ice Cube is going for the government, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the hardest shit, bro. You know what I mean? From the rip, he's been the hardest, you know. So it's I put KRS-One above him. The only person I put above him is KRS-One because I think he's the most important of all time. Yeah, I mean, he's the most like relative to like, you know, what we should be knowing and should be up on. You know what I mean? Um, you know, for humanity. Like if you was to pass hip hop down to people, I would pass down KRS-One first. You know what I mean? I think he's the most important. And then Cube is just like the hardest. Like Nas is ill, you know what I mean? Jay-Z is dope, but Cube is the hardest. Biggie's killing it. But the hardest, like when you hear the voice on the track, you know what I mean? Not even
Yeah.
just that, you know what I mean? But like y'all get what I'm saying.
I was saying this to Fanon and Rob earlier, but I was watching all these like old Ice Cube interviews around the time that he released this album, and he was on CNN doing these like it was like a radio show, people were calling in or whatever, and basically the person that was hosting the show was like, I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, you know, how can you go about changing things? Like how do you see yourself changing these conditions you're talking about in your music? And he was like, well, through rap. And he was just like, you know, I don't have a radio show, I don't have a news outlet, I have to do all this through rap. So, you know, I feel like that's where a lot of this energy comes from. But also, like, I feel like there's so many layers to that. The other layer of that is also like survival. I think about all the outlets we have now, all the ways that we can express ourselves versus like 1991. I mean, there weren't really a lot, you know? And so, like, I think, you know, that energy that we're feeling, that anger, it's just real raw emotion. You know, this is how he coped. This is how a lot of people coped back then who had this outlet as your only outlet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Would you think in a sense, would you say like it like the music meant more then, or it meant more to certain people then, you know,
I don't,
because
yeah.
we had less because it was a more vital outlet. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like you could just like, well, just turn on your phone and just start. Well, I'm feeling like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you had to, you had to do it through the music or something, write it down something.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it doesn't mean as much as it does now. If somebody puts out an album like this, I think it still has a lot of meaning. I think the impact might have been hit a little deeper back then because people also, on the opposite side of the spectrum, people also didn't have a lot of ways to access like people who were, talking about things that they could experience, outside of books, like, where, you turn to music. And I think like being able to hear about these experiences when you don't hear them, about them in school or about, you don't see that kind of representation on television, I think it probably hit a little deeper back then, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's
Definitely.
like, yeah, go
You know
ahead.
how amp people was getting off of Ice Cube back then?
Yeah.
Come on, man. That fool was number one, bro.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when he quickly became the voice of LA. And then when that was put into his hands, I feel he best voiced the city through Death Certificate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very important album. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Very important.
I got a question for everybody. What is your favorite side, the death side or the life side?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, man.
Probably the life side for me.
Yeah, I got dang,
I'm
dang,
gonna go with the death side. I'm gonna go with the death
dang. That's
side.
crazy.
I gotta be honest, like today, as a 40-something-year-old father of a daughter, the life side, I gotta listen to the life side because
Word up.
I mean it's really just giving up the nappy dugout is a little difficult for me to listen to today.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to hear my gangster rap, dirty rap playlist then.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Depending on the mood I'm in, I might be interested in.
Yeah, Nappy Dugout is definitely on there.
Yeah, that song is fucking wild.
But yeah, the depth side is packed though.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that no Vaseline is on there is almost takes the cake.
Goddamn, I'm glad y'all set it off. Used to be hard, now you just went soft. First you was down with the AK. And now I see you on a video with Michelet, looking like straight bozos. I saw it coming, that's why I went solo. And kept on stomping. While y'all motherfuckers moved straight out of Compton. Living with the whites, one big house, and not another nigga in sight. I started off with too much cargo, dropped 4 niggas, now I'm making all the dough. White man just ruling. The niggas with attitudes, who you fooling? Y'all niggas just phony. I put that on my mama and my dead homies. Yellow boys on your team, so you're losing. Hey yo, Dre, stick to producing, calling me owner, but you been a dick. Easy E saw your ass and went in it quick. You got jealous when I got my own company, but I'm a man and ain't nobody helping me. Trying to sound like America most. You can yell all day, but you don't come close. Cause you know I'm the one that flow. You done ran 100 miles, but you still got one to go. With the LENCHMOB and y'all disgrace to CPT. Cause you're getting fucked out your green by a white boy with no Vaseline.
yeah, you know Vaseline is on the life side. Damn.
The last 4, it's crazy. Colorblind doing dumb shit. Us and no Vaseline. That's crazy. Right there.
It's crazy for a fact. It's good, but I like that the first 4 are the first 4 on the death side.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Strong start.
It's a strong start and a strong finish.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the middle was cool too. I appreciate the Khalid Muhammad.
Niggas from this motherfucker. That shit is hard as hell.
Album really just flows so nicely. It's so well sequenced.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It really did a job.
I was listening to it on cassette today. I don't know if everybody could see this, but
Oh, word up. That's
so
pretty
nice.
great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's the OG way.
Mm-hmm.
Let that tape rock.
Well, guys, thank you again for being here, and thanks for picking Death Certificate so we could talk about that. Thank you for
Hell yeah. Thanks for having us, man.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Thanks for shedding light on the album too.
yeah,
We appreciate that love.
Yeah.
our pleasure. Before we let you go, is there anything you want to let people know about? Any self promotion you want to give us?
check out 40. Check out that album 40, the new album out in stores now by Blu and August Fanon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the ditto. Check out 40. Blu,
Check it
August
out.
Fanon. Check it out. Check it out. That's what we all about, man.
Hell yeah.
That's it. 40. Nature Sounds. Has
Mhm.
musicals. You can go.
Oh
for
yeah.
it. Highly recommend. Gentlemen, again, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you guys.
This has been The Next Movement, folks. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Peace.
Some people got this, some people got that. Some people got rich, some people got jack. Shit makes you wanna get stacks just to give it all back on. All y'all all happy or all y'all all sad just because you want a bag and a badass bitch whipping grits at the pad for your mom and your dad. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys all kinds of lavishness that the rich have. If that isn't for you, then just kick back with a Big Mac while I get so many whips. You get whiplash, splish splash, trying to take a bath in the pool full of money. Donald Duck did that. How the fuck do these kids have more than these pioneers have? If I was them, I would say here's half. Thanks for my career, dad. Cheers to the past and the years that have passed, cause it feels weird that we still here.
I got a list of people that was throwing them stones, yeah. Hope you niggas ready for the blessings I owe, yeah. Money never matter when you mentally broke. You could take it all, never taking my soul, yeah. They wonder how I smiled through it. I never left my shell, I just outgrew it. Yeah, I noticed how the crowd